Welcome to my 13th episode of Ready, Set, Collaborate. But actually, this new series is called The Art of Book Collaboration because I got my girl C. Nicole on with me, who actually got me into doing what I'm doing now. And I tell you, I said I would never write a book. And I'm gonna tell you what she said to me, but I want to read her bio first. So, and welcome, C. Nicole. I really appreciate
Thank
you
you
being
so
on
much.
the
Thank you for
on the
having me.
podcast. Thank you. So, C. Nicole Henderson is a consultant, strategist, author, speaker, and industry expert. C. Nicole Henderson is the CEO of C&H and Associates LLC. She has been in the nonprofit sector for more than 26 years as a professional, volunteer, board member, and consultant. She has a proven clear track 501c3 system to attain exemptions for nonprofit organizations. She has consulted and coached well over 750 organizations from small, all volunteer startups to multi-million dollar foundations. Wow, girl, I tell you, we got a queen here. So her portfolio has spanned the United States and included organizations in Haiti, Africa, UK, Asia, and the Caribbean. C&H and Associates' mission is to empower individuals and groups to become nonprofit organizations of purpose and champion as viable, mature organizations of diversified revenue and impactful relationships. She is the co-author of 3 books. Her current book can be found on Amazon, Audacity to Shine. And I tell you, and that's where C. Nicole, yeah, she was one of my Legal Shield clients, but that's what she got me to say, I would never write a book. Well, when she said, what did you tell me, C. Nicole, when you called me?
You got to remind me.
God,
Oh,
God,
God told me to call you.
yes,
Yes.
I, and
I
I
didn't know
am
if it
not.
was something else that I told you, but yeah, no, the Lord led me to call you. Yes.
That is one that stuck to my mind because I said I
Yeah.
would never write a book. And when she called me and said, God told me to call you, I said, well, I'm not going to disobey God. What did he say? And that's how I became part of her, one of her co-authors of
And God
that
wasn't
season.
wrong, was he?
Oh, he was not. He was not. And actually, I want to show this book here. And that's his saying. You know what I loved about this scene, Nicole, is the words of the lessons of woman of color, life, faith, and business. And what I love about it is the sunflowers. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you real quick that I actually went to my cousin, visit my cousin in Chicago, and her neighbor had these big old sunflowers in her yard. I said, oh my
Wow.
God. I said, that reminds me of my book, Audacity to
Mm-hmm.
Shine. So I really appreciate you coming on the show and giving me that push by me saying I'm never gonna write a book. Well, she showed it that look, God told her wrong. I ain't gonna disobey God, right? So so
Yes.
yeah. So see, Nicole, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions about the book collaboration that we did and also about your nonprofit business.
Mm-hmm. So tell you what you want me to say first?
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, as you said before, that I've been in this industry for over 26 years. It's been a long time. It's actually longer than that, but I don't want to date myself. So I started out back actually in high school and went on to college. And these 3 young men from my hometown, that's why you never spite small beginnings. These 3 young men went off to college, came back to our hometown, and started a youth initiative project. And they really gave back to the youth, not only to the youth, but to the community. Because later they got into housing and development and all types of things. But they started this nonprofit. And when I got off to college, I came back and I ran their youth programs. And these 3 young men, not only did they have support and awesome board members and things like that, they operate in such excellence. They had federal funding,
Wow.
federal grants. And so we was part of the JTPA program back then, where they were
Wow.
able to train young people to be entrepreneurs. So who knew, how did I know that way back when I was doing my own training for the life that I would want to lead by being an entrepreneur? Because I've had my own business for a long time as a side business, but I
Mhm,
went full time back in 2012. And
mhm,
we added the publishing company just about 2.5 years ago. And
mhm,
so, and the Lord put it on my heart. I've always wanted to be in media. I've been in the literary world as well, well over 16, 17 years. And so that just really spoke to me to have a publishing company and not only publish my work, but to also publish the work of others and people who are nonprofits who has a story to tell as well.
Mm.
When over 20 years ago, when I got divorced, I changed my first name to the letter C. So C is my legal first name. And I did that because I knew I wanted to be an author. And
Mhm.
20 years ago, it was a big deal whether you a male or female author. It's no big deal now. You can be a cat and write a book. Somebody buy it. You
And
know,
and that's great because that was a question I was going to ask you. How did you get the idea for this book collaboration come about? And that's what you was answering now.
yeah. So the book collaboration, I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had been hiding myself, Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
I was not out there like I should have been. And coming up to COVID and all the things that were taking place, I wrote another book that I completely finished writing, and it was called Girlfriend Pray About It. And
Oh.
so when COVID came, I said, I'm not ready to release this book yet
Mm-hmm.
because I want to be out and I want to be doing events and all kinds of things. And the Lord started showing me that I was playing small and that I needed to shine. And he also shined a light on Kamala becoming the next vice president. So the
Wow.
Lord gave me insight that she would be the next vice president before she was actually elected. I was
Wow.
laying across my bed, and the Lord said to me, He said, it is the season of the Black woman.
Mm.
People be like, oh, God's not about color. He about all that he made. He about Chinese, he
Mm-hmm.
about Asians, he about Jamaicans, he's about Caucasians, he's
Mm-hmm.
about everybody.
Right.
And it
Right.
was the rise of that woman because my original cover was a little woman, white, facing out in a field of sunflowers with her back turned. And really, to be honest with you, Wanda, it represented me
Yeah.
hiding.
Yeah.
And so I saw an image of a face of a woman with a spotlight on her.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the graphic artist about it, and he came up with this. And then I got a book of 10 of us, women of color, and I have a Caucasian woman on the front.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That
And
that's
so,
awesome. I
yeah,
love that. I love it. So tell me more about what.
but the book is for everybody, regardless if you're Caucasian, Asian. I've had so many nationalities. People read the book because it's stories that speak to your soul. It's stories that speak to
Mhm.
your heart. And I've even had one person read it 3 and 4 times. She's like, oh my gosh, you will not believe. I kept finding myself, and she's a Caucasian woman. She said, I
Yes.
kept finding myself in this book. So, just because we're celebrating lessons that come for women of color, even
Yeah.
men can read this book. It can be truly a blessing to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because my husband, he has it and he's been reading it too. So,
Yes,
but from this book that you actually created for us 9 other women,
yes,
we told our stories, and that's what actually started me to say, okay,
yes,
I can do more. And then I got into another collaboration, Impact of One Voice with Aubrey Robinson, but with yours, you started the whole process.
yes.
But then I said, okay, I want to write my own book. And I did. I did. And it's all because of your audacity to shine. And the mentoring that I do too, I tell the girls all the time, you have the audacity to shine. That is the words just really, it's just a blessing to other people and
Yes.
it puts a smile on people's face. But with my book, from what I derived from yours, God's Grace Through the Fire, From Struggle to Triumph, I
Hmm.
wrote the full story. That was actually a great way of me releasing things that I had deeply
Mm,
buried inside, and I had to start seeing the counselor. So thank you for bringing that into nutrition because I would never. I said never say never, but that's actually my second chapter, my second collaboration. Never say never because God has a plan for you. So,
yeah.
but
But
it's awesome.
I love what you said about that one because a lot of times we think because we don't talk about it or
Hmm.
we don't deal with it that it's healed, and it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Writing is such a catharsis healing process. Even when we were writing this book,
Hmm.
several of us was like, you know what, I need a rewrite. I need a
Yeah.
minute. I need
Yeah.
a break.
Yeah. I know I did.
You're releasing things. And that's
Yeah.
another reason why I don't try to rush the process because
Mhm.
sometimes people be like, oh, get it out in 90 days. well, maybe we might need more than 90 days for
Mm-hmm.
God to do his perfected work.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it is his perfected work that's coming forward, not
Mm-hmm.
just our time limit. And
Absolutely.
so I'm just so glad of, and don't, I'm not against anyone who, pushes within a short time period. But when you're doing something like this and
Mm-hmm.
somebody's never written before, it's
Yeah.
not just about book sales.
Yep.
It is about also the people, we're writing not only for ourselves, but we're
Mm-hmm.
also writing to the reader because we want
Absolutely.
the reader to have transformation.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a transformation for me.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
as far as me getting to this to the point that I got. And I was like, I was that was the first time I ever wrote a book. I ever wrote a chapter. So it was
Yes.
new to me. But you know what was it? I actually had a journal that I was writing stuff down anyway. So
Mm.
I was actually bringing it out. And you see, I was the first one to finish it, right? So,
Oh yeah, you did. You did.
I said,
You
so
did.
when we gonna get this book out? I was trying to rush these. I said, because I don't know how this works. So it was
No,
good. So
no,
let me,
no. It was fine. And you know what? No process is the same.
yeah, yeah,
Every process is different. Even the one you probably went through, even the process on your own,
yeah,
every process is different. And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
but you gave yourself that grace. And I had even told you that that's the greatest compliment of doing a collaboration is for you to then go on and write your own story.
Yes, it really was. And it's funny because that's my next question. What was the process like selecting and working with your co-authors, with us as co-authors? What was it? How was that?
Oh my gosh, you all are amazing. I mean, even the team I have now is amazing. Um, through that process, I truly how can I put this? I prayed for you all.
Thank you.
I the number of women that I wanted, God graced me with.
Hmm.
And honestly, this also came out of a um God gave me this word called grace to completion. And that's how this first book thing also came about because we want to finish stuff. There's things we want to do. And
Hmm.
and I remember being part of Becky's group that we had at Coca-Cola, and my tickets that day at our end of the year event had a 5, a 2, and a 7 in it. And I was like, grace to
Hmm.
completion. And both tickets had the exact same numbers, 5, 2, and 7. I
Those are
said,
my
what
favorite
is the
numbers.
likely? Uh,
Those are my favorite. 5 and 7 is my favorite
yes,
numbers.
I'm like, what is the likelihood of these both tickets having these
Seven
numbers?
and seven.
Yeah, 5, 2, and 7. And so I was like, okay, grace to completion. And
Yeah.
so that's another reason why it came out because I myself had always wanted to write a book. I was part of somebody else's collaboration,
Hmm.
a business book and another anthology, but it
Hmm.
wasn't my own. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to step out and I'm going to have grace to completion and
Hmm.
have others to get their grace to completion.
Hmm.
And that's what we did.
That's awesome. And I truly appreciate you that doing that. So before I go on to your nonprofit, I want you to give people advice. What would you give what advice would you give to people that are considering the book collaboration?
I would say that sometime when you want to go fast, you can go alone.
Hmm.
But when you want to go far, you want to go with a team. And
Hmm.
it helps to have community because I even grouped my lady, the book authors together. They had buddies. They
Yes,
had
we did.
accountability partners.
Yeah.
And so they build their own bonds and their own
Yes.
relationships and helped each other, through that
Yes.
process. And
Yeah.
truly, truly, truly is a blessing. So I would say research the person that's doing the anthology to
Hmm.
make sure that you feel as though that what they're doing lines up with your work. Also make sure that you have the rights to your work because sometimes people will try to take the rights of your story. So if you ever wanted to redo that story, you couldn't. And
Hmm.
that wasn't the case with us. We didn't keep the rights of the story.
Hmm.
We had the rights of it being in the book, but not the rights to their story. And so
Right.
that means they gave us the rights to publish it. And so
Okay.
Wanda could go and now take her story and rewrite it in her own book. Also
Right.
make sure that you check with the guidelines and and what the deliverables are. What are they offering you?
Mhm,
Because you want to make sure that you're getting copies of books, or how much would your book copies be? Because our book copies are not expensive.
mhm,
So you could purchase your own books and
mhm.
you can resell them. And
Mhm.
Wanda, you guys can still order books and have those
Okay.
copies on hand. You don't have to stop just because you
Okay.
know you can always keep copies of that book on hand to
Yeah, because
share
I
with
still
the
have
store.
some. Yeah, I still have some of that in my other ones, but that's good to know that I can
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
order more.
You can
Yeah.
always, because Amazon has them on the back end, and so we can always get more copies. And so, just kind of, and then also see what the subject matter is that they're
Mhm,
going to be writing about, and see if that resonates with what you want to share. And just be open, have an ear to hear, be open, because like Wanda said, she didn't even think that she was an author.
mhm,
And let me tell you, Wanda writes well. And so, and not only is she writes well, but she is so organized, and she kept us all orderly. So you never know what nuggets and awesome people that will come and be a part of your team that'll keep everything going and flowing. So just be open to it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Because people ask me, I always want they keep these books 20 years and never put it out there, you know.
Yes.
So they ask me, well, how did you do this? So then also Adeline and Adeline's ideas. Wanda, you should become a help people with be a coach. I said, wait a minute now. I already got my podcast. Slow down, slow your roll here. So, but no, I appreciate that. But I want to flip it over because actually we're almost out of time. But I want to flip over to your business, CNH Henderson Associates. So
But CNH and Associates. Yeah.
yes, I'm looking at CNH and Associates,
Associates,
right?
yes.
Okay, make sure I got it right here. So who are and actually C Nicole does nonprofit. And you definitely want to contact her because she has a wealth of knowledge. Like she said, she has what, 20, how many years, C Nicole?
26 years.
26 years. So she knows what
Yeah,
she's doing.
has
She knows
helped
what
over
she's doing.
750 organizations just within our company. I mean, we've helped more than that, but yeah, we've
That's
spoken to more than that. But
that's
yeah,
awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. So I want to ask you these questions real quick. I don't want to lose
Mhm.
our time here. Who are your ideal clients and what type of organizations or programs have you served?
Okay, so my ideal client is someone, um, it's a range. So if it's someone that's already employed, it's usually anywhere that someone that's between about 38 till about 58.
Mhm,
And so they have a burning desire to want to start a nonprofit. They have uh an idea of something they want to do. Now don't get me wrong, we've had clients younger than that, but
mhm,
that's pretty much our target audience. They have been through something in life.
mhm,
They've endured a breakup, or a loss of a parent, dealt with a medical issue themselves.
mhm,
Maybe they might have gone through domestic violence, or maybe they're dealt with cancer, or they want to help against the cruelty of children or elderly or animals. So I was kind of answering sort of like who our industry is too.
yeah,
Touched on every industry out there you can imagine, from science to technology to
mhm,
social justice to health to children to education to
mhm.
wellness to homelessness to veterans. There's a plethora of
That's
sectors
awesome.
that we have crossed over and that we've worked with. We have clients in 46 states around the country. And so
Wow.
that has given us the benefit of working with a lot of diverse and varied organizations.
That's awesome. And I love that you put it because I'm actually probably going to be talking about you because I probably with my company once I grow, I want to
Mhm.
get a nonprofit,
Let's
organization
touch
as
on
my
that right there, Wanda, what you just said. So that's our other specialty, is helping businesses
Yep.
add a nonprofit to their business,
Hmm.
especially for my private foundations.
Hmm.
My corporate clients who really feel like they've done well in their business, and they have now they want to give social goodwill, social responsibility, and they want to take proceeds that they've earned in their business, their profits, and they want to share it into a nonprofit and do good with it and have it to have perpetual. So those types of people will either form a family foundation, a
Mhm.
individual foundation, a corporate foundation,
Mhm.
or they could have a public charity. So,
Mhm.
so it's different things that they can do um to expand it. And we help them find that sweet spot between the two and how they can work well with each other.
That's awesome. That's some great information too. So, to slow it down, like, because I want to make sure we get your contact information. So, what led to your passion to consult and coach nonprofits?
Well, like I said, it started out with those three young men that came out, and then we had a board member called Mr. Ron Charity. God bless his soul. Mr. Charity was a businessman, a politician, a professional tennis player. I mean, he was just a Renaissance man,
Mhm.
and he just had a heart of gold and a true man of service. And ever since I was a little girl, 10 years old, I knew that I had a purpose in life. And I
Mhm.
remember telling my grandmother, "Grandma, I have a purpose in life,
Mhm.
and I was born for this." And so one of the things that I want to teach people is we were born to prosper. Our foundational scripture is in 1 Timothy 6, and we talked about having that good foundation and
Mhm.
being able to give out of our resources, and being a cheerful giver and not being stingy, and
Mhm.
having that wealth mindset, being a servant leader. So
Mhm.
I tell people, you want to treat your nonprofit like a corporate leader, but act like a servant leader.
I love that. I love that. That is a great way to end this segment. So, I really want you all to really reach out to see Nicole. But real quick, one more question I want to ask you as we run down time. What roles are millenniums, and you talked about that before, playing among nonprofits and social entrepreneurship?
Oh my goodness, I love it. I was in a business collaboration where I talked about millennials. That was one of my chapters in the book.
Mhm.
And Gen Z, Gen X, Y. I'm telling you, they are so much into social justices, social causes. They're already used to. So if you have a nonprofit and you're not seeking out young donors, you're missing it because they're used to recurring payments. They're used to Apple Pay and Venmo and all this other kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
they just, just having small recurring payments
Mhm.
coming in, donate, I should say payments, donations
Mhm.
coming in from these millennials and baby boomers, was
Mhm.
because baby boomers, they're still very strong in nonprofit support. Um, you could make a true difference. I'm gonna give you one example.
Mhm.
Uh, Albert. Albert is a app that's a nonprofit. They might be a B Corp. But they in 2017, they pretty much was about to go bankrupt. And because they wasn't charging for their services and their apps. If you have a nonprofit, you have, first of all, the legal right to ask for money, because the
Mhm.
IRS says that people can give 60% of their adjusted gross income to your nonprofit. And then
Mhm.
also you have the legal right to because you get tax deductions,
Mhm.
as well. And so you can charge for services. So
Mhm.
what they did was they created a sliding scale to ask their clients who had their app, who was using it, to pay anywhere from $4 to $14. Their
Mhm.
average gift was $4, and that gave them their first year of doing that over $1 million in annual recurring payments
Wow.
at just
Wow.
$4 a month.
Now you see how a wealth of knowledge this
Power
lady
of
is here.
$4.
Yeah. So I definitely want to and actually we're almost at the end of our time. I definitely want you all to reach out to see Nicole because she's a wealth of knowledge for nonprofits. It's also a book collaboration. But
Yeah.
see Nicole, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, my link tree, because I'm having my website redone right now, but my
Mhm.
link tree is linktree.com/ C Nicole Henderson. All my social media is C Nicole Henderson. You can Google me. I am Googleable. You will find me on social media if you do it, but everything is under C Nicole Henderson. And so you should be able to find me that way.
Thank you so, so much. This has been a pleasure talking with you. And I tell
Yes,
you,
it has.
she's been my hero to get me out to write my book.
You're my hero too.
But I thank you so much for being on our podcast, Ready Set Collaborate. So stay tuned for the next episode because actually, see Nicole, I'm going to have one of the other authors on
Okay.
my podcast, Jacqueline Lulu
Yes.
on here. So she's going to tell us her story. But thank you so much for being on my show. And I look forward to you coming back because I do want to have you back because we're going to talk about
I
health
would
and
love,
wellness as
I would
other.
love to do that. I would love
Yeah,
to do that, especially
yeah.
since I'm on my own journey. So yes.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much. I say family. Well, we're all family, right?
Yeah, we
For
are. Yeah.
but stay tuned for a podcast, Ready, Set, Collaborate. Episode 14, I think is what we're going to. So listen, this has been a journey for me, and I am so happy to be able to share my journey with all of y'all. Come back. Make sure you subscribe, follow, Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson. Thank you so much. Bye for now.